Okay, what's up, good people? We're back. And today, what I want to know is, are you the breadwinner in your household? Or does it require you and your spouse's income to run that household? Reason being, next month is Life Insurance Awareness Month. The month after that is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. What I want to say to you all about insurance is like paying for money. I know that sounds crazy. It sounds like an oxymoron. Insurance is like paying for money. Think about it. Your car insurance, you pay that every month. In the event that you get into an accident, what are they going to do? They're going to give you the value of that car, which is money, so that you can go back and buy another car. You have your house insurance. You pay that every quarter, month, however you pay it. Maybe it's in your PITI. I don't know. The point is, you give them money so that you can get a larger sum of money to replace whatever was happening with the house, whether a tree fell on it, on the roof, whether a pipe burst. They're going to give you larger lump sums of money for the smaller premium that you give them. So you're buying money in essence when it comes to insurance. So the thing I want to talk about today is going to benefit you greatly. Why? Because it's soft life prep. What is that? Soft life prep is preparation. Preparation is being prepared for the unexpected. You want to put a plan in place, because if you don't put a plan in place, you plan to fail. So the first thing that I want to talk about is for us to have something like supplemental insurance. So a great supplemental insurance to have in place is a cancer policy. Yes, a cancer policy. Now, there are two different kinds of cancer policies that I myself, because I am a senior life insurance agent, I myself would be able to provide. That cancer policy is one where you have a lump sum benefit that pays out upon being diagnosed with cancer. Of course, you would provide the accurate doctor's documentation showing that you have been diagnosed, right? You can get a lump sum of $10,000, $25,000, or even $50,000 to be paid out all at one time. Imagine being, told some bad news, but knowing that you have a plan that you put in place so long ago that in the event something like this did happen, you are able to have something paid out to shoulder the burden of your expenses. When you have been diagnosed with something like that, you don't want to have to think about still going to work. You want to be able to say, I'm going to take off the 6 months, the year, the 2 years, whatever it's going to take for me to be able to pour into healing and whatever it is going to take in order for me to beat this cancer. Okay. Now, far too often, that's not the case. What happens is we still try to go to work. We still have to try to work and go through chemo or radiation. And what that does to your body more than the cancer itself sometimes, it's like, Lord, help me, right? And if you have loved ones who've gone through this, then you kind of know, you're kind of thinking and seeing that visual in your mind of what that looks like. So what you want to be able to do is have something set aside while you are still in good health. Like I said, you're buying money. So I even have an example of, if you're 28 years old, female at that, do you realize that $7.25 would give you that lump sum payout of $10,000 if ever diagnosed with cancer? How about $17.75? Do you realize that would give you $25,000 in a lump sum payout? Now, how about $35.25 would get you $50,000 at the age of 28? So I'm saying all that to say it's not that expensive. And it's not just for you. You can do it for yourself and your entire family. Now, I'm going to use that same 28-year-old example. If she had a spouse that was around the same age, well into even their mid-30s, do you realize that they were going to be able to have that spouse covered and even children covered at $10,000 for a total of $11.25 covers a family for $10,000? Y'all playing. Y'all think this insurance is a joke. Insurance is the real deal. A small premium gets you large amounts. I'm using my prop here. Get you large amounts. $10,000. What can you do with this? There's so much you can do with it because now you're not stressed out. Stress does not help the immune system to heal faster. Stress worsens it and it makes you more debilitated in your healing process. So imagine now if knowing you have monies that would be released to you, then you, your spouse, or if it's just you can plan. You can set aside a portion of those, that lump sum to say, I have now 6 months of my expenses that are now covered, or even a year worth of my expenses covered. I would even encourage you to do something even more savvy. Put that 6 months or 12 months into a high yield savings account, so it would be yielding even more compound interest while it is sitting there waiting for the 30 days to pass for your bills to be able to be paid from that account. Makes sense? Now you can heal and be able to sit aside and rest. Rest is essential to healing at any time, but stress makes any kind of healing worse. Now, I'm encouraging you to do it while you are yet in still good health. Reason being is, the moment you're diagnosed with cancer, you cannot pick up a cancer plan like this. Like I was saying, there are two types of cancer plans. You have a lump sum, and you also have the one that is incremental. The one I'm talking about today, though, is the lump sum payout. That's the one I want to encourage you to pick up for yourself and or your family, because it just makes sense. And in this sense, it says when it makes sense, it makes dollars. Now, no one wants to be diagnosed with cancer. All day long, I would want to have my health as opposed to, I'm going to get a lump sum. But look at what cost. All I'm saying here today is plan and prepare. Prepare for what you're needing to have as an undergirding, because we do it with our cars. We do it with our homes. Child, we even do it with our cell phones. So why on earth are we, our bodies, our temples, our lives, not as important as all these other materialistic things I just named? Come on now. It makes sense to get yourself some life insurance and some cancer insurance, okay? And this is the lump sum one. Now, let me go into another example. The numbers are practically exactly the same for an 18-year-old. Let's say it's a young individual who's still, 10,000 is still $7 change. Now, let's go to someone who may be 39. I'm going to start always with the female, because it's soft life prep and it's about us women, right? But it's about you men too, because I know you men love us women. Great. Now, 10,000 for a 39-year-old is $9.25. And that's like an 11-year difference. It only costs you $2 more to ensure that you have an undergirding in the event something happens of $10,000 being released to you in a lump sum, $9.25, okay? 25,000 will cost you $22.75. Y'all go to Starbucks 3 or 4 times in the course of a week and spend more than them $22 in the week. This is something that you pay for 1 month. 1 month, okay? So $50,000 of a lump sum payout for just being diagnosed and having, of course, the proper documentation, I want to stress that, would be $45.25 if you are 39 years old. Now, what does that cost for a family? That's husband, wife, and children. What does that cost for $50,000? It only went up by $20. So $65.25 covers you, your spouse, and your children. All day long, that makes sense to me. Okay? Now, y'all like, okay, but what about the people who older than that? All right, I got y'all too. Give me just a minute. So let's say you're 46. I'm just choosing random numbers to kind of give you a gauge of, where we are. So let's say you're 46. At the age of 46, 10,000 in a lump sum payout will cost you $16.25. Okay? 25,000 would cost you $40.25. And the $50,000 at the age of 46, $80.25. Now, again, let's talk about the family. That family, 10,000, not even $30, $29.25. Is this starting to make sense to you guys now as to why you need to position yourself to be prepared for things like this? It's too late when you're laying in a hospital bed, pushing a morphine pump, watching the house that you all had paid for all these years going to pre-foreclosure. That's asinine. It's foolish. Why? Because your income can no longer be contributed, not because of anything you did wrong. You can't help that you were diagnosed with a disease that It's going to take a while, maybe or maybe not, depending on how severe it is to cure. What you can help, though, is planning and setting aside things so that if something like this happens and your income is one that is counted upon to be contributed to the household to ensure that it runs smoothly, to ensure that you still have a household, then this is something that you need to put in place. Now, I'll go one further. That was for if you were owning and paying a mortgage, then you're talking about foreclosure. But let's talk about rent. These landlords are not lenient. They'll put up eviction up easily. Mortgage takes a lot longer to go into foreclosure. But rent, if you're renting, what family member do you know has the capacity to just quickly pull lump sums from their usual and customary budget to put into yours, to now take care of your rent, your car payment, your car insurance, your food, your gas, your expenses? Oftentimes, no one. Family members may have to pull together to help you out, but helping you out may cover you for 1 or 2 months. What happens in month 3, 4? I know what happens. If I'm 46 and I have a family, it's $72.75 for 25,000. That's what it is. That's what I know is going to happen. Now let's go to the latest age that you can get this particular lump sum policy, because the incremental one you can get, upwards for much older. At 59 years old, just before you hit senior age, that's what we consider senior, not 55 or whatever like AARP. But at 59 is the last time that you can acquire this lump sum payout as far as being diagnosed with cancer. So I would admonish you, don't wait. Because, I'm going to get to it. And the I'm going to get to it is I forget and now I'm 60, or I'm going to get to it and I've now been diagnosed and now I can no longer get it because I'm ineligible for it. Okay? At 59, $10,000 is $22.25. You give the company $22.25 and they giving you $10,000? Where they do that at? In insurance. If you're 59, $55.25 gives you $25,000 upon diagnosis and the proper documentation. $50,000, $110.25. So that's a light bill. Y'all pay that every month in a light bill. Some people pay it all month for fast food. Fast food is consumed and it leaves your body. This 110 is if I pay this in the course of the month and something happens to me, I have a return of $50,000 coming my way at the age of 59. Is this now starting to click for everybody? I really hope so. Because 1 in 2 males are diagnosed with cancer. 1 in 3 females are diagnosed with cancer. And so what you want is for this to offset the financial burdens that you have. That's the name of the game here. If you do not plan, you plan to fail. And I would hate to know that everything that we've all worked for just slips through our fingers like water, simply because of something that we had no control over. So I would encourage each of us today to make an appointment. I'll put some links in the bottom comments there of my YouTube of how to get onto my Calendly, and let's just have a conversation. You hear the amounts. They're not astronomical. You have these types of dollars set aside for other things. Why not put them in place for things that will give you something in return? So again, what we've talked about is having a supplemental cancer policy plan. I would encourage those of you who are looking to get that supplemental cancer policy plan to also consider having the regular life insurance, because the regular life insurance builds cash value over time. I'll do something on that one here in the near future, but thank you so much for your undivided attention, because this is going to benefit you so much more than you ever could know. And if you know family members who need to hear this, share it. I ask you to like, subscribe, and share. Okay, guys, take care.